Good day, folks. This is Greg Judy at Green Pastures Farm. Today, we're down here in the bottom. It's the Eastern Gamma Grass bottom, and we just put, I think it's about 130 ewes that we brought down into here. And they followed us with the guard dogs. And the guard dogs have a full-time job of keeping the coyotes and stray dogs from killing our sheep every day. And this is our guardian dog feeder. And the way that works is the dogs climb underneath that, or they actually crawl underneath that wire, and they come in here. And this is a gravity flow. So that door has a magnet on it, and when they want to eat, they can eat. And as they eat, we always keep a rubber strap over the top of this. See, it's full of dog food. Right now they're not eating much dog feed because we're feeding them meat scraps from our deer hunting expedition. We had quite a bit of deer bones and ribs and feet and hides and all kinds of stuff, and the dogs really enjoy eating that stuff. And it's cold out here, and so the dogs burn more energy in the wintertime than they do in the summertime. But today's topic is, you get a lot of people talking about warm season grasses, and they're wonderful. They're a wonderful grass to have on your farm, but you don't want your whole farm covered with them. And this is a really good ultimate comparison right here. So this is all pretty much Eastern Gamma. There is some fescue clumps in here, like right here some. Anywhere you see the green, that's the fescue. Where you see the brown, that's the Eastern Gamma. Underneath those trees right there, a lot of fescue. And this terrace all the way across, that terrace, of course, never had any big gamma seed planted on it. This is all drilled on this bottom in about 1994, 1995, somewhere in there. About the same year I put mine on my field. Mr. Tom McCauley and I met at a Eastern Gamma Grass field day, and of course Tom was the father of Steve, which is the owner. Steve and Cindy own this. This is our lifetime lease. But Tom was at that Eastern Gamma Grass field day where they were teaching people about it. And we were there too, and we struck up a conversation, and that's where I met him. But so Tom was actually looking at the gamma seed as something for his son's property, which is Steve, this. And they ended up putting in this field and the one behind me in Eastern Gamma. So this has been in here since about 1994. A long time ago. 26, 27 years. My goodness. It's crazy. But it'll be here for your whole life as long as you don't overgraze it. And we don't. But you look down in the canopy of it, see there's fescue in here. You ask them, well, what are those sheep eating? Folks, by the end of the winter, this gamma grass will be trampled on the ground by the sheep. And they will be eating a lot of it. Now, when we get into February and March, it doesn't have much feed value. It's like giving just dry straw. But they'll eat it, and they won't do very good on it unless you give them, that's when we bring out a molasses energy tub. If you don't, your sheep will get thin. There's just not much food value in this by the time, February, March gets here. But they do pretty good on it, as long as there's fescue in it. They'll get all this green grazed out of here by, we're going to come back through here about every month. So we'll be back in January, we'll be back in February, we'll be back in March. And surely by the end of February, it's not going to look like this. But people say, can you build soil with sheep? Absolutely. They're going to trample all this. This will all be on the ground, every bit of it. Every bit of it. So we've got Altogether, I think there's about 12, there's 8 on the back. There's about 20 acres of gamma grass on this farm. And, you know, just be careful getting too much warm season grasses because, you know, it just doesn't make very good winter feed. Awesome summer feed. I mean, it just, animals get fat eating this stuff in the summertime, but it doesn't stay summer here all year long. So you've got to watch that. It's getting warm enough in the days. We're still providing them water. There's a water tank over there on that terrace. You can kind of see it from here. There's a big 400-gallon tank because we need quite a bit of water down here in the summertime for the cow mob. When you're running, you know, 300 head in here, they need to have water. But we'll turn that off when we leave here and make sure the hydrant's not turned on, because if you leave it on this kind of weather, it's going to get down to sub-zero temperatures. You'll crack that hydrant. And the sheep don't need water when it gets really cold, as long as there's got some fescue or some green stuff to graze. Now, if you put sheep on hay, dry hay, you've got to give them some water. The boys are spreading out the the deer parts. They got a big old tub of deer parts there. And they're gonna bring them back here for the guard dogs and dump them, get them off the road. It's funny, you know, people just stick their nose in your business all the time. We had a deer that got hit up there on the road. Boys and I just threw it on the truck and brought it down here and gave it to the guard dogs. And they ate it, but there was a hide left up there by the road. And somebody called the conservation. Oh, Greg's killing deer, or his dogs ran a deer down and killed it, or something like that. Anyway, they came out here. I said, look, the dang thing was laying in the middle of the road. We picked it up. We gave it to our dogs. Oh, you can't do that. I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? You just can't do that. You got to call us. So, anymore, I just leave them on the road, and they sit there and rot, and buzzards pick them up or whatever. But you got to call the conservation if you're going to pick one of those up, I guess. But the deer parts, see, those are legal deer. We kill them, they're ours, and so we can feed those deer scraps to our dogs, and we don't need to call anybody. So just kind of sharing that little bit with you. But the sheep are doing good. The rams are going to be coming into here this week on Thursday. We're going to gather them up. There's still quite a few withers in with those rams. We'll be selling some of those. And we do have a few St. Croix rams left for sale. If anybody is needing any St. Croix parasite resistant rams, we're going to have a few. I think there may be 3 or 4. But anyway, the sheep are going to be one flock again. They won't be on, the rams won't be on the ram farm anymore. So we put the rams in December 1st, or as close to that date as possible. And then we start lambing May 1st on green pasture. And last year we averaged two lambs per ewe. It's the best we've ever done. Before that, we'd done 1 year where we did like 1.72, but last year we hit 2. And it surely didn't hurt anything that we had 5 sets of triplets. That sure brings your average up. I'm gonna walk over here a little closer to these sheep so you can see the body condition on these ewes. I mean, they're just fat. So, you know, everybody talks about, well, you gotta flush the ewes, you gotta flush the ewes. And flushing the ewe means you gotta get them up and feed them all this grain to make them more likely where you have more twins. And my deal is, if you feed them all that grain, that dog is running. That's our wild dog right there. He's gotten a lot better though. He stays in with the sheep. Before, every time we came over here, he'd always be somewhere else. He's kind of freaked out by me being on foot. I'm usually on the four-wheeler. But he stayed in. Anyway, the sheep if you get them up and flush them, supposedly you'll have a better chance of having more twins. But my deal has always been, you feed them all that grain, you're gonna have a lot more money in those lambs. And you know, sheep don't do so good when you feed them a lot of grain. It's kind of hard on them, actually. You know, these are ruminants. They're designed to eat this kind of stuff, folks. Look at those sheep. Lady's barking at us. She's also barking at our intern applicant up there. She's not used to him either. Those sheep are fat. Look at that. Folks, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. My hands are about to freeze off doing this film, and that wind's blowing and it's cold out here. And we're gonna see y'all down the road next time. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the way out. And some of y'all have been getting on the stick pretty well and ordering your hats and your books and things for Christmas. You go to our website, greenpasturesfarm.net, if you want to get a book before Christmas for a present for your husband or your wife or whatever, or a hat or a t-shirt. You need to get that done, because you probably won't get them before Christmas if you don't order them in the next week or so. So anyway, just wanted to give you that. Everyone have a good one, and we'll see you all down the road next time.